Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. Today's update is serious, urgent, and emotional. We're diving into one of the most intense and dangerous conflicts currently unfolding: the escalation between Iran and Israel. This isn't just a headline. It's a rapidly evolving crisis that's impacting millions of lives and drawing the eyes of the entire international community. So far, we're now on day 8 of missile exchanges between the two nations. What started as an isolated incident has turned into a dangerous and unpredictable military standoff. Both countries have stepped up their attacks. Israel has struck multiple locations across Iran, and today, Iran responded once again with a fresh round of missile launches targeting Israeli territory. But the impact isn't just being felt on the battlefield. In the streets of Tehran, the emotional weight of this conflict is on full display. Just after Friday prayers today, downtown Tehran erupted in mass protests. Images are now going viral of huge crowds, some waving national flags, others holding up posters of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. There's a sense of unity, of deep anger, and a clear demand for justice from everyday Iranians who say they are defending their homeland against what they see as brutal foreign aggression. What's especially significant is that these protests aren't isolated to one part of the city. They're widespread, coordinated, and emotionally charged. This isn't just political theater. It's personal. For many of the people in those crowds, this war has already taken a toll on their neighborhoods, their families, and their future. Now, as these demonstrations unfold, Iranian leadership is making its voice heard internationally. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi traveled to Geneva today to meet with his counterparts from France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The topic: a desperate push to stop the violence and to address Israel's targeted attacks on Iran's infrastructure, both military and civilian. At the Geneva summit, Araghchi didn't hold back. His language was bold, direct, and deeply emotional. He called the Israeli strikes a clear violation of international law, citing Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter, which prohibits the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. According to Araghchi, Israel's attacks were unprovoked, unjustified, and amounted to acts of barbaric aggression. But what makes his statement even more chilling is the breakdown of the targets Israel has allegedly hit: university professors, off-duty military personnel, hospitals, health centers, and even the foreign ministry itself. Araghchi says the attacks have been indiscriminate: residential buildings, public infrastructure, and worst of all, nuclear facilities have all been struck. Let that sink in for a moment. Iran is accusing Israel of bombing nuclear facilities. And they're not just making that claim as a military concern. It's being framed as a humanitarian and environmental issue. Araghchi warned that these strikes could lead to catastrophic radiological leakage, causing long-term environmental damage and a public health crisis that could affect generations. He called these actions not just violations of sovereignty, but war crimes. And here's where it gets even more complicated. As Iran positions itself as a victim of unprovoked aggression, Israel insists it is acting in self-defense, responding to what it claims were threats to its national security and provocative activities linked to Iran's nuclear program. Both sides have radically different narratives, and the international community is caught in the middle, scrambling to assess the evidence, manage diplomatic fallout, and prevent the conflict from spiraling out of control. What we're seeing unfold isn't just a regional dispute. It's a global flashpoint. Nuclear tension, mass civilian protests, high-level diplomacy, and missile warfare are converging in real time. It's the kind of situation that could redraw regional alliances and fundamentally shift power dynamics in the Middle East. But for now, we come back to the people on the ground, the ones whose voices are often drowned out by headlines and political spin. For Iranians, this war isn't something they can scroll past or ignore. When they wake up in the morning, they're checking the sky, not their social feeds. They're listening for sirens, not trending sounds. They're hoping their local hospital hasn't been hit, and their kids can safely get through the day. There's also growing concern over how this conflict might affect Iran's already fragile economy. With parts of its infrastructure under threat, and sanctions still heavily restricting its access to international financial systems, the average Iranian family is being squeezed harder than ever. Power outages are becoming more common, the healthcare system is under strain, and there are reports of fuel shortages in certain areas. Meanwhile, international aid groups are calling for humanitarian corridors to be opened immediately. They're asking for safe zones and de-escalation, particularly in areas near nuclear and medical sites. But progress on that front has been slow, blocked by security concerns, political red tape, and the sheer unpredictability of the violence. And let's not forget the broader implications here. Other countries are watching closely, some quietly aligning with Israel, others voicing support for Iran. But nearly all are urging restraint. The fear is that if this conflict continues unchecked, it could pull in regional powers like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, or even further escalate tensions with the US and Russia, two nations already locked in multiple proxy conflicts around the globe. For now, what happens next is unclear. Will the Geneva talks make a difference? Will outside pressure force a ceasefire? Or are we seeing the early stages of something much bigger, much harder to contain? In the next section of this video, we're going to break down the international reactions, what world leaders are saying, how the United Nations is responding, and whether diplomacy has a real chance of stopping this before more lives are lost. This is a story that's changing by the hour, and we'll be here to bring you updates, context, and honest reporting that cuts through the noise. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing. We'll be tracking everything as it unfolds,